Hello everyone. Uh, my name is Santosh, and today we are going to go through of the course content which is related to PowerApps, which is for the developers, and it is like no code environment. So I'm having around 15 years of experience in IT, and in training, I have around 6+ years of experience in training, and I do teach SharePoint training and Power Platform for developers, Power Platform for admin. So coming to this session, so this is going to give you overview on the course content. So who can learn this course? What you will be getting as a takeaway after training this training, the training program, and why do we need to learn? What are the job opportunities you have in the current market? And let me jump into the course content and the course duration. So what kind of real-time project you're going to do, and I'll be providing you the tips for the interviews, certification program, and let's move on to the content. So, if you see, what is this actually? It's a low code, no code environment. So, Power Platform is nothing but a low code, no code environment. And by 2025, 70% of the new application developed by enterprises will be using the low code, no code technology, and now it is less than 25%. So, and if you think in a larger scale about the legacy applications, by next 3 to 5 years, there will be huge demand in the Power Platform. You where people who don't have the non-technical professionals or people who don't have any exposure on the coding, they don't have knowledge on doing writing a lot of code. So people and even the people who are having good technical knowledge, coding skills also will have good scope in doing these codes. So it takes you to your new career. So where you have to start your new career, which is a cloud environment. This Power Platform is nothing but a which is a Microsoft one, which is a cloud environment where you will be going through different kind of products which are being released by the Microsoft, and you will be using all those products, and you'll be able to develop the projects or applications from end to end. So for this, let me show what kind of course content we have. So I'm going to teach you about the course content which is called as a Power Platform Developer. So where I'll be covering on Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agent, Dataverse, AI Builder. So in the course content, I'll be going through the content related to Power Platform. What will be there in this? Power Apps, Power Automate, as I said, Power AI Builder, the connectors, Microsoft Dataverse. We'll be going through the licensing guide. What are the different kind of license we have? How do we purchase a license? And how we can effectively use a licensing model in your organization or to your project. So if you want to enroll the licensing for your client, and what are the ways you have, and what is the cost for the licenses, and how do you acquire it, or how these are being charged based on the product. So each product has a different kind of each licensing. So we'll go through that. And Dataverse, we'll see, because previously it was called as a CDS, but now it is called as a Dataverse. So you'll be going through this Dataverse. How do we create it? What are the permissions you required? And get started with the Power Apps. So here we'll be discussing on different types of apps which you can create, like Canvas app, Modern Driven app, Power Up Pages, and how do you use the templates? How do you can show this on the mobile, and the studio developing it. And the next we'll be covering on the connectors part. How do we connect with different type of connectors we have? Even if you can go with a modern driven app, how do you create it? How do you design? What when do we use the modern driven app? And what are the different kind of screens or design patterns you have? And we'll be going through the forms in the Canvas app. What are the different types of forms you have? How do we customize it? What are the data cards? What kind of checks you can do? How do you can integrate with the SharePoint and other data sources? So we'll go through the other concepts of data sources. So when you're trying to connect with the Canvas app or Modern app or anything, the Power Automate or anything, in those cases, you need the data source. Here, the data source, there are like n number of data source which are being available or which are being provided by the Microsoft in the Power Platform. So, in order to use this data source, how do we connect it and what kind of authentication mechanism you have to go through and how you can get the data from the different data sources and how you'll be utilizing the data which you're retrieving from the data source and showing it in your Canvas app, or you'll be utilizing in your Power Automate to consume the data. So we'll go through those scenarios and how do you publish your app, how do you share, how do you connect with the different teams, what are the roles you have while publishing. So we'll go through those and the customization. People who are working on the SharePoint, especially, they should know on how do we do this kind of customization on SharePoint. If you're going to customize your SharePoint list, how do we do it and what are the best practices and how do we integrate the different kind of screens. So these are all will be covering as part of the Canvas app. And going to the Power Automate, so we'll be discussing about what are the different type of flows we have, how do we use it, what are the connectors, and different type of triggers, the scenarios, popular scenarios, where approval scenarios, and we'll be going through the basic building. How do we build the flows? How do we share it? How do we consume those other services? All this will be covering it up. And in the same way, like even you can use the same connectors which we were discussing during the Power Apps, the same connectors which are related to SharePoint, Teams, Dynamics 365 or HTTP calls, custom connectors, data operations, all this we can discuss. And in the Power Automate, we'll be going through the different kind of concepts which are related to actions, parallel, event handling, how do we do the complex scenarios with parent-child flows, uh, and we'll be going through the sharing flows, permissions, modern approvals, integration with Power BI. So how do we integrate your Power Apps with Power BI, or how do you get your data from saving it from Dataverse and showing it in the Power BI? All this we can cover. And we also will cover on the PVA part, the Power Virtual Agent. This is a interesting topic and which is going to have more demand in the future. Why? Because it is totally built on the bot framework. Earlier, who are the developers who has done on Microsoft Azure bot framework, they'll be easily able to have upskill on this PVA. We'll create the PVA bots and we'll see how we can publish and other stuff. And also the Power Pages. This is the one which is a new one which has been released by Microsoft. Earlier, we were calling it as a Power Portal, but now there is lot of changes that has been done from the Microsoft in terms of Power Pages. So we'll be going through the Power Pages. We'll walk through on how to create it and what are the configurations are required, how do you authenticate, and what are the ways you can try to publish it to the internal user or to the external users. So this is really a great topic which we are going to see, and few advanced topic. So the A builder or express design, Power Pages already I said. And at last on the course, we'll be providing you the interview tips. So what kind of questions may be asked, or the certification, what kind of certification you are going to do based on your role and your skill or your experience. You can plan for your certifications. I'll be giving what kind of certifications are available and how do we get it. We'll have one or two sessions how what kind of questions may be asked and how we can enforce saying that which topics we need to be concentrate when you plan for a certification. So getting a certified will be added to your will be more advantage or value added to your profile. So getting a certified is more important. And also the live examples, we'll going through the project with all these areas which we are going to cover. So this is a course content. Hardly the course will be around 30 to 35 days. If required, we can extend for 2 or 3 days, but max 35 days is a course content. The course duration, and people who can learn this course. So people especially who don't have any what you can say, like people who will be having less coding experience and all this, can learn this power platform for developers. So I do give coaching on another course content, that is for, this is for developers which I do it, and people who want to enroll for the power platform admin course. There is a separate video which I'm going to share what I'm going to cover in the power platform admin course. This course is going to be a really hot skill in next upcoming features. So there will be more demand for the admin, and there will be high package because admin resources are currently in shortage, where there is no high people who has good exposure on the admin content. So, and especially who don't have any knowledge on the coding part can go through it. So there is a admin one. And going to the topics, so as we discussed, so there's a low code no code platform which enables you to create the advanced kind of apps. So this is where you're seeing this a family of power platform. So we call it as a power platform family. In this family we have around 5 products, or totally I can say 9 kind of products, but high level there are 5 products which we call it as a power bi. Power bi is nothing but a area where it will provide the real side, real time insights from the data. Either it can show you in rich visualization and highly personalized reports on mobile and desktop. You'll be able to create your own reports by using this Power BI, which is a powerful graphical tool, which is also having a good demand. If you have this as additional knowing on what you can do and how you can do, that will be really better. And next one is Power Apps. So this is where we call it as a no code, low code environment, where you'll build mobile friendly business apps. These apps will connect to hundreds of third party systems, which is either from the Microsoft or from the other. And you'll be creating a lot of apps, reusable apps, or you can develop an app with less span of time. So, for example, if you take any example, a department in your area, so HR or finance or something, any department, like if you take a safety department or recruitment department, if they want to have an app which need to get the input from a different kind of users. So developing, previously you were used to create a site or Android apps. Now this will be easy to create, and you can easily connect to your cloud. And the beauty here is, this is everything is on the cloud. You no need to install any kind of tool on your desktop. You can directly if you have the subscription, you can connect and you can develop it and you can utilize it. And the next one is Power Automate. So what we are going to discuss on this is like Power Automate. It is a workflow automation tool set. This will allow you to create, automate the business process through templates, triggers, alerts, and even you can use the RPA. This RPA now in current market, there are only 2 tools like UiPath and Blue Prism. So if you use this RPA tool, it is going to help you a lot. You no need to write any code by this RPA tool. This is on the Power Automate. So where even people who are familiar with any workflow engine, if people are working on Nintex, if people are working on the SharePoint Designer, anyone, if they are working on these areas And if you're trying to do any logic app, it's the same flavor of it. So if you're going already, you don't have any knowledge, nothing to worry. So if you don't have any coding knowledge, especially people who fear that, okay, I don't have more knowledge on the coding, how I can get a job or how can be in industry, because this is been the Microsoft is totally focusing on these products. In the future, I can say by next 2 years, there will be huge and huge demand, and each and every MNC or even the top clients, if you take any Fortune 500 companies, so they are going to adopt it and they are going to utilize it. You will be either involved in any of these tools, that is on the Power Automate or all these five. And coming to the virtual agent, so these are nothing but a bots. So you know that what bot will do. It's like a agent kind of thing. So where you will be posting a question, where it will be giving a response to you or the chat. So if you see now, you can create a bot with less span of time. So without any code, everything is like a plug and play. Just you need to know what is being expected or what kind of query you need to pass and what kind of response you may get. So and that is where in future, like, you know that everything is will be a bot. So no need of any customer representative. You can raise a ticket. For example, I'll tell you, basically, if you take any client, if they want to raise a ticket, they need to call to customer care. Without that, they can use this bot, they can open and they can just type it, so it will create a bot for you in the backend. Sorry, it will create a ticket for you in the backend. That is where you can create. And the Power Pages. So Microsoft has come up with Power Pages, which is a sites which are for public. Previously, if you create a site and if you want to make it as a public internet facing site, the site which is developed on .NET or SharePoint, you have to follow a lot of things. You have to get the IP, hosting, all this stuff. Now, nothing is required. You just need to say with single button saying that uh, just go and uh, click on the button. That's all. And also we'll be going through the data connectors. What are the different type of data connectors we have? What is the Microsoft Dataverse? This is really important Dataverse, where it is on the cloud. No need to maintain it. You have different kind of security mechanism. All this can be covered in the Dataverse and PowerFX and A Builder. So, and coming to next slide, here we'll be discussing on the Power Platform. Who need to be there? So low code transformation. Who are the citizen developers? Who are the pro developers and IT pros? So if you are working as a lead or the manager or any other role and you don't have exposure on full coding, so these are called as citizen developers. So where if they have good knowledge on the Excel kind of thing, so you'll be using the same kind of formulas in building it, and you can build solution faster with a drag and drop facility. I'll be going through what how it creates and other stuff. Pro developers, it's like you can create your code solutions totally, which you can create as a separate custom connectors and PCF components. All this will come under who can write a code with Visual Studio or any other kind of technology. And IT pros. So once it has been done, it should go to the maintenance, and it need to be given a control, who has to manage it and who has to access it and who has to provide the security complaints. All this, these are all the people who need to know about this Power Platform. So as I said, like, this is a low code environment, and you can see the building an app. If you see on the diagram, it is saying about the three things. One is related to, so one is related to the how it look like, and this on modern driven app and responsive. So all these which you are creating with the Canvas app are responsiveness. Sir. You can connect to the different kind of data connectors, custom connectors, add your AI to your app, which will help you in the cognitive series, will provide you no limits, and you can develop a number of apps in the mobile or with the web. So these are the different kind of apps we have, like Canvas app, modern driven app. We'll be discussing on it deeper. So discussing on this one here, you'll first design. There, you'll first leverage on your data. So based on your data, you're going to design your app and relationship, generate the immense responsive applications. So we'll be seeing on the custom components with the Power Apps framework. How do we develop a separate custom components? So we'll go through it, and this is where how it looks like. So what kind of tools you need. So basically you should have some kind of knowledge or basic, which I'll be covering on Azure also. What are required in Azure. So this is a low developer, and what kind of services you're going to use in the Azure, and what you can going to do use in Office 365. So I'll be going through that also, and the digital transformation, how this is being across the different kind of line of business. If you take healthcare or any kind of industry which is in the current market, healthcare, insurance, digital energy, or if you take any mechanical or automobile industry, any industry can use it. So you can just think, okay, for example, if you went to a service center where you're going to give a car for regular service, so there also you can think that, okay, I can create an app where you'll be getting the customer information automatically based on the uh, uh, provided details, and also you can even take the complaint what is required and submit it. So automatically it goes and assign a task to the field engineer or someone who is going to take care of the car for doing the service. And if there are like 4 to 5 department, like if you take washing department, or if you take the general service, if you take any other, if you have something get damage on the car, it goes to insurance. So you can create our app which is a seamless integration with a different kind of, if you take all this will be in the Dynamics 365. So even that kind of customization may require your Canvas app or modern driven app. So all this you can do it. So let me just jump in what exactly we are going to cover during the courses, as this is a demo one. So I'm not going in deep. So during the exact class we'll be going in deep on each topic, but let me tell you like what we are going to discuss in future. So this is where we'll be initially starting with the admin center. Will say that, okay, what kind of users we need to create, and how do we provide the licensing, and how do we provide, what are the different kind of roles are there in terms of Office 365. And we'll be jumping into the SharePoint, if you want to create a site, and how do we use that site for SharePoint customization using the Power Apps or Power Automate. We'll be going through this kind of site creation, and how do we use that data connector in your apps. We'll go through that, and also we'll be going through the Canvas app. So we'll be, let me jump in. So this is how you can create. These are called as Power Automate. So where we'll be going through the different each and every topic in deep, uh, based on the schedule. But this is how we'll be creating it, a different kind of Power Automate which interacts with the SharePoint or with the Dataverse, and different kind of connectors. How we get from here to there. All this we are going to see from the during that module. So we'll be going through the different kind of flows, how do we do it and how we can get it. So we'll be covering during that sessions. And also this all we'll be covering about the Canvas app, and also we'll be covering on the Azure part, what you're going to, how this Power Platform is being related to your Azure. So why I need at least to know the basics on Azure, what kind of, how, what are being utilized during, because we'll be going through the different kind of products as we said. So we'll be going through these 5 products, right? So one day or other you may interact any of this. See, for everything it's a backbone is the Azure. So should at least know what kind of concepts you need in the Azure, because when you write your code or something with Azure functions, where you get deployed, especially in real time, you'll be using the authentication mechanism. What kind of authentication mechanism you have to go it, and how do we do the multi-factor authentication? I'll be going through those stuff also, and for these 5 products. And later on, we'll be discussing on the PVA part. How do we create the chatbot, integrate with the different kind of line of business, publish it, even with the teams. So we'll be going through the teams channel, what can be done over the teams. So I'll be providing you all these details. Even we'll have a discussion which is being related to the mock-up kind of thing. We'll do some kind of a discussion, open end up questions in the last of the course. So I'll be covering all these uh, in the agenda. So during the course we'll be learning all these areas. So hope as this is the first one which is recorded, and what are the other in the admin center, what you can do, why do we need admin, and what are the roles of admin. As I said, like there's a separate course which is related to Power Platform admin. So who will be, I'll take one more recording, but this is how the course content look like for the Power Platform admin, especially. And as I said, this is going to be more in demand in future, as this may get more, what you can say, people, as we started using it may get more demand. But uh, you can even go through, I'll be covering few areas on this one for the other demo. As I said, the platform. So what we can do it, how we can integrate it with the other line of business. So we'll going through this kind of each and every uh, session, each and every topic. As per this one, we'll go through the topics. Even like few topics may take less time, but even I may take additional topics also which are not been added here. Sometimes it may not be required. So I'll be going through those topics also, and this course content may get changed on periodic basis, because of I may add few extra one, and I mean remove which are not really required, or which are not required for your career growth or in terms of interview point. So I may add few topics like advanced kind of thing. If you see the express design or a builder, these are like advanced topic which you can learn. So thanks for this one. Please get enrolled for the course, and I'll be sharing one more demo session which will happen again. So please enroll for the course, and for any fee details or structure, please do reach out to the course content, the contact you will be we will be providing you the update on what kind of how much is the fee structure, the days and batch, when it's going to start, and other stuff. So thank you all.